There we go.
So Liam, you're going to show where to go get the file headers first of all, because we're starting.
Yep.
You're going to go to San Andreas because
Oh yeah, I put
yeah,
SD, not S, yeah. SARC, yes, SARC staff. I'm always guessing what your acronyms are.
yeah,
And it's usually whatever the name of the place is, RC, SDRC, SARC, uh, ELARC.
yeah.
Of course, the one that we end up looking at 90% of the time because it's Maureen talking to us is Landerman. So, um, oh man, that logo is really hard to read there. Um, okay, so if you want to upload user completions, it's actually going to be so under the hamburger menu, then integration, you're going to go to import learner records. And so to get the headers, this is just going to download a blank file with it's going to be a spreadsheet with headers. And it's going to look once my computer catches up. So it's actually going to look, wow, why did you zoom in so much?
You need to share your entire
Yeah.
screen.
Oh no, I did. It popped up on my other screen, on my other monitor.
Okay.
So it's going to look like this. And so here you're just going to take the information, the user information, and you're going to paste it into the appropriate column. So obviously the user, and these can be done with users that are already in the system. So you can, let me see here. Do we have? No, there's no names in the file. Sorry, I'm just looking at Kate's file. Yeah, there's no name. There's no names.
Yeah, my file is to modify learning activity records.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so that would be okay. So, do you want me to start? Do we want to start with that, or do we want to start with importing student records? Well, we're already on student records. But basically, you would just yeah. So you would it's just going to download like this. It's just an Excel file. Just fill everything in. So it's going to start with, it's always going to start with first name, last name, email. Then it's going to be user metadata. So fill this in if it's applicable. Obviously, some of these will be, groups, regional center specific. So obviously, Landerman isn't going to have SARC department. So once you filled all this in, supervise, no, this is still metadata. So yeah, these are all metadata. And then once it gets to title, this is where you're actually talking about the activity. So let's say I was doing myself. So I do Liam, my last name, email address. And this should work even if this is whether the user is in the system or not. If they're not, this is actually creating the user. And then I would fill in any metadata that is applicable. And once I get here, I would choose what activity is. Actually, no, wait, that is also metadata. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now it's the code. So here I'm actually grabbing the code from. So you get this. Make sure it's not the title. So it's not this, it's this. So the code, because the code has to be unique. The title doesn't.
Yeah, it's not the exact thing.
So you'd fill in, I should have copied something. We put in the code here. I'm just gonna. There we go. And then I'm going to say what date I enrolled and what date I completed. So let's say I enrolled on the 1st of this month and I completed today. A score that's applicable. So what score did I get in the activity? And then it's on to credits. So, did I get any credits for this activity? If there's no credits, leave it blank. If there are credits given, did I get the credits? If so, just put how many. And so then I'll save this file. Then we're back on the page here, integration, import learner records. I'm not actually going to upload it, but I'm going to show you the process. So now I'm going to remember the code 9821F. You can, of course, save it as whatever you want. I just keep the default GUID. My computer's being a little slow. It's then I find the file. There it is. Harriet?
So does this create that issue if when you're bulk uploading users, if you leave something blank, it creates another another being in the LMS? Like if you fill out that spreadsheet and you leave some fields blank, does it create
No, if you leave a field blank, it should just ignore it.
okay.
If you put a space in in the field, it might create a field that looks blank because it's just a space. But yeah, when you're uploading a file, leaving it blank is just going to ignore it.
So how can I mess this up?
We've tried to make it as foolproof as possible. Trying to limit the ways that people can mess this up, but I'm sure people will eventually find a way.
So, but Harriet, I guess the key thing I want to point out is don't, if there's something there and you're inserting something you want it to replace in the person's record or profile, make sure that it matches something that's in there already.
Yeah.
Because it's going to create, if, like, for instance, people were uploading users and instead of putting YES, capital Y, they were putting lowercase YES and it created another choice in there. So everybody got to see that there was two yeses, one with the caps and one without. We had to go in and it's painstaking for thinking cap to have to go in and remove all that stuff and
Yes,
then assign it to the right value. So make sure that whatever you're putting in a field, like some people put, instead of regional center employee, they put employee. You make sure you're using the same nomenclature that is already a choice in your system.
yeah, the system very much does operate on GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if it's going to look, whatever you put in the file, it's going to look for exactly that. And if it doesn't find that, it's going to think, okay, that's what they want to put. I'll just add that value.
And the other thing I wanted to say was, or ask was, if the course code does not exist in there, does the course need to be set up ahead of time? Do people need to set up the courses ahead of time, or can they import the courses in too?
Yes, you would have to set the course up ahead of time because otherwise the system doesn't know.
Where to
You
put
set
it?
up, yeah, it doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't know what type of course it is. It doesn't know anything about that course. There's not enough information. There's not nearly enough information here for it to create a course because it doesn't know what kind of course it is, what the title should be, if it's worth any credits, if it's a
Right.
certificate, anything like
But there's
that.
a way to upload that as well,
There is a way to bulk upload,
the courses. Yeah.
to bulk add courses. It's just not this.
Yes.
Uh,
This is once you have the courses created in there, and we just create them as we go. But if you're doing like last year's records, so that you can report it out, you're going to want to probably upload all your courses first and then upload your people into those courses using the course code like he just showed you.
Kate, I see you have your hand raised.
Kate, you had a question?
Yeah, I don't I might need a little help in asking this, but it's kind of on that same topic because I am importing all my records. So like my brain is trying to figure out how to do all of my Circle Up series, and that was split into 4. So could I have somebody on this spreadsheet twice, or does it need to be done separately?
So on the file we're looking at on the importing the
Yeah.
records, yeah,
Could
you would
the
just put
same,
yeah, it would just be a different. You would put the same person on 2 lines, and you put course 1, like course A on the first line, course B on the second line.
okay. Um,
Yeah, they're going to be different dates and times though.
they
You know,
are, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do the
So
4-part part.
So you would first create you would first make sure that the 4 activities are created in the system. And you cannot create an activity without a code. So you would create them with those 4 with codes, and then if you wanted to say do import the student record for a user in all 4 of those, you would put so just like I did with the first line, you would then do the same thing but use the same user and put the information for the second one in the second line, the third one in the third line, the fourth one in the fourth line. So every line
Okay.
is just this user and this course. Here's the student record.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so once you've got the file created and you've put it here, you're going to click upload. This isn't to create the job, so there is one step after this. What it's going to do is it's going to show you the first, it's 3 or 5, I can't quite remember, the first 3 or 5 lines of the file you put in. And then it'll say how many records you're importing. So we see that it's going, here's the columns, here's the line I created. So here's the user information, and this is just kind of make sure, does everything look all right? Once it does, you would then scroll down and you click the add accounts button, and that's just going to run the job. And that's it. Then the system will take over. It'll put in the information that you've given it. So yeah, that is how to import learner records at the branch level. Any questions about that? Like I said, we've made that as simple as we can. No? Okay, so you wanted to know about creating activities in bulk? Yeah. Okay, so we're back. So we're back on the main page of the admin view here, and we make sure we're on the activities tab. And then under the big green manage activities button, there is an add multiple activities button. Oh, Harriet, got another question?
Yes. So after I've added the accounts, so then can I verify just by going to a sample record to um ensure that it uploaded properly, or how would I
You would
verify that?
You could actually go over here to this is the job queue. So once you click the add activity button on that page we were just on, it's going to create a job, and that job is going to be listed here. So it would say, I believe it's going to be like import learner record, like one learner record into learning activity. It'll give the code. I can't remember exactly what the phrasing is, but it'll say in general what you're doing. It'll say when the request was made, who did it, and then it'll give the status. And when it goes in, if the server, if it needs to wait for a server to free up, so to take it, it'll say waiting, then it'll be in progress, which means the system is working on it. And then once in progress disappears, if it vanishes entirely, that means it went through no problem, everything worked perfectly. Otherwise, if there were any issues with the job, it'll say completed, and then you'll have this column over here. It'll say, X number of warnings or X number of errors. And then you can go into there to see what the errors are. So, this one is this one, Jericho Noriega, see that learner couldn't be enrolled in this course because they're over maximum enrollment. So that means he's already enrolled in the activity. So you can get details on exactly what went wrong by just clicking the X number of errors or X number of warnings. And yeah, that's how you can check how the job did. Does that answer your question? I also realized I forgot to put on my headset, but it'll do.
Harriet? Okay.
Oh, yep, thumbs up. I can see it. Okay. Okay. So we wanted to talk now about adding multiple activities. So this is quite simple, and it's a similar process.
Before you start that, I
Yeah.
wanted to go back and I mean, we don't need to go back to the job queue, but as you can see, I see everybody's jobs. And if there's errors in there, maybe go back to it for just a second.
Yep.
And there's tons of them. Sometimes they're the same person, and I can see that they keep trying to enroll the same person. If they go to the job queue, look at the error message, it'll tell them they're over the max enrollments. So if you want to re-enroll them in the class, you have to change the settings on your enrollment page to allow for re-enrollment. But
Yeah.
you know, there's tons of them in here, and I keep having to send things out to people. You know, just go here. This will tell you, you know, where there's an error. And a lot of times it's, you know, it's a benign type error, but here outside the enrollment dates, like go back to your enrollment page and go to the general and say, if the enrollment date is past, then it's not going to enroll people in it. You've got to change the last enrollment date to a current one so you can enroll them. So, and then once you do that, once you investigate that, that's your first place to go investigate when something is, when you're going, I'm trying to create this, not working, it's not working, it's not working. Go look at the job queue and it usually will tell you why it's not working. And then you can investigate and correct it. And then once you do that, dismiss that warning because that loads up. It's like 100 in there sometimes that I have to go through and check them all, you know, to see, you know, what they're about. And usually if it says the last enrollment is not complete, then I can just clear it for you. But most of them are, you need to take some action because I don't know, you know, I don't know about your dates. I don't know about if you want to re-enroll the people. So anyway, just a little.
And in general, when you look at the job queue, you're not going to see nearly as many. Maureen and I are system administrators, so we see the entire system. Whereas you're more likely only going to see ones on your branch.
Right.
So you might see a couple rather than the whole list. Okay, so adding multiple activities is a reasonably similar process. You're going to download the file. You can either download it as a TSV, which is a text file that can be read by a spreadsheet program, or Kate. I'm not saying Kate can read it, but
No,
you
Kate can't read it. That's the question. TSV files, you can download them and then work in them. But question when you re-upload them, like how do you make it a TSV file again? Yeah,
you
how
would
do
just
you like upload them?
the way I do it is I just I save it and then I save it as a text file and then just change the extension to TSV. But downloading it as an XLSX file will work just the same, and that it just is a spreadsheet.
Can you
Uh,
show
sp-
us that at the end if you use TSV?
yeah. So you would download it as a TSV. So it's going to download as one. If you just keep it the same, you can just click save. But if you're opening it, oh, I would have to open Excel and then I need to. So I'm going to stop sharing for a sec because I believe the spreadsheets I have open are for other clients. So don't want to be showing you their information. Uh, we'll be back after these messages.
You save it as a CSV or a TXT, a text file, and then
Yeah.
you just go and change the extension to TSV. But since you're able to do it as an Excel spreadsheet, why not just download that, make your changes, and then upload it as an Excel spreadsheet? You don't have to worry about TSV because a lot of times people don't realize they can't open it and they have to go down and change when they're opening that file to look for a TSV file because they have to click all files. Otherwise, they're looking for an Excel and that's not an Excel.
Yeah.
It'll open in Excel, but
Yeah, it is probably easier just to download the file as an XLSX. Because
Yeah.
that, like I said, that is just going to be an Excel file. Um, so just as an example, I do have the file downloaded so I can demonstrate.
It just seems like since that's available, this is an extra step. So
So if we click open, so we open Excel, and then we're going to browse to wherever we've saved the file. Now, Excel is generally going to default to all Excel files, but if we choose all files, and then we find the file.
yeah, that's the step that people don't realize. They've got to look in all files to find it.
So here it
Otherwise,
is.
it's going to show up. Yeah.
And it's going to bring up a little dialog window to say, how do you want to separate these? So like, how do you want to limit these? So you click next. Because this is a TSV, TSV is just short for tab separated value. So that means it's a text file, but it's saying separate these into Excel columns by tab. So, it would be if you look at the actual file in Notepad, it's going to be learning activity type, then tab, learning activity code, tab, and then the next line will be the actual type, what type of the activity is, tab. But it is definitely easier to do just downloading it as an XLSX file. Partially because just going to download this. They work the same. It's just this one saves you a couple of steps. There we go. Even the file is set to open. Yep. Oh, sorry, I'm just moving Kate's file up here again, where it was before. So
You make
remember
the
when I was
blue different color, Liam, because it's so hard to read on the screen.
I can change it here, but it is going to default to blue.
I know, but for this purpose, can we see what we're looking at? Because you can't read it.
Yeah, one sec. Enable editing.
Just make it yellow or something so we can see it. There you go.
Okay, so remember when I was looking at the file as a TSV, when I went to here, it was just I would have to enter the type of activity it is. But of course, on the XLSX file, I can just choose it from the dropdown. So if it's an e-learning course, I just click e-learning. And you would
Yeah,
have to match, you would have to get the,
ILT, these are all going to be ILTs for them. So
yep. So you would just
yeah.
choose instructor led, which is ILT because ILT is instructor led training. Now you're going to give it the code. So remember, the code does have to be unique. The title doesn't have to be unique. You can have more than one activity with the same title. The description, you do need to give something here. Just it's the brief description of the activity. What language is it in? You can, again, because you're using the Excel file, you can just choose from the dropdown. The domain, what branch it's on. If you're just uploading it if you're looking at, SARC and the activity is going to be on SARC, you can just leave this blank because it'll just be uploaded to this file. If you were uploading it on, San Antonio, and then the file is going to be on SARC staff, then you would have to put at the SARC staff code here. But if it's going to be on the branch that you're uploading the file on, you can just leave it blank. The equivalency is if it's in an equivalency, you choose that here. Tags, these are for sorting and such. You don't have to put anything. The first enrollment date, so the date that learners can first enroll. How long you believe it'll take in hours and minutes. If it's an ILT that requires supervisor sign off, is there a supervisor? Is this activity going to be set up so that when a learner goes to it, there is a supervisor, a sign-in page, and the supervisor can sign in there to prove that the
No.
learner has done it? So that's for live ILTs.
Right, this is historical data that they're gonna be
Yeah.
putting in there,
Yeah,
so.
so yeah, don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about that. Activity certification test certificate template. Is the if it gives a certificate, we're going to choose the certificate from this list here. These are ILTs, so you don't really do scores. If it gives credits, you choose the next columns will be the credits. So you choose if they're given credits, many. These are ILTs. Are these ILTs all going to be one session, or are they going to have multiple sessions?
Some have multiple.
Okay, so it is slightly limited here. So you can name, so here you'd give the name of the first session, in the description of it, when it is, the date, the time, the end time, and where it is. And again, this is a drop down. So all the locations you have available. If you're using
Liam,
custom,
pause for a second.
Yep.
So if you have, let's say circle up training or other training that, somebody has done for you, and they've sent you a spreadsheet with all this data in it, you're just going to be cutting and pasting that kind of information because they should have been tracking. They came to day 1, they came to day 2, they came to day 3, they didn't come to day 4, and so on. So you could probably pull this from your attendance records, minus the people. You know what I'm saying? You could probably eliminate the people and just take the 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 ILT structure that they sent the attendance to you and pull this data from there. Does that make sense?
uh, oh, so that is something that I didn't think about. So you want to do this as attendance. So the way we were looking at before wouldn't allow you to do attendance. It's just going to be saying, did they complete? It's not going to be attendance. Does that matter? Or
That is the attendance,
so if we wanted to do attendance, we would have to be a session at a time. We don't really have a way to mark attendance on multiple activities at a time, at least that I can think of.
Right. But we're just talking about bringing in the activities. First, they got to get the activities in there.
Yeah.
And they got to put the people in there. So if an activity has 4 days, that a spreadsheet's going to have to list the person 4 times for
Yeah.
each day, and what day they completed it, what day. So the attendance will be taken in the other file that you're going to upload. I don't want to confuse people.
So if you're uploading, so this file by default is only going to do one session, but so if you'd fill in the information on the first session, and then you get to the ILT session cadence, and you can choose, and here's where you can choose. So if it's recurring once a week, you can choose weekly or daily, monthly, however you want to do it, and then you would actually fill in. So let's say I say it's going to be weekly, and then from here I would go, Tuesday. So this would mean that the next few sessions will be on Tuesday, the next few Tuesdays. How many times does it recur? Is the session required? But these are not, these you really don't need, because we're just going to be marking the complete. And this is all metadata related to the ILT. So you want to do 4, you would put 3 here. So it's going to do this first one, and then it's going to create 3 more. It's going to give them the same title, but they're going to be recurring on the cadence that you choose in these two. So once this is done, yeah, so once you've got this filled out, you would save the file, and it's going to be just the same. It's going to be the same process as uploading the student records. Kate?
Sorry, this might be incredibly specific, but like, let's say we upload my brain's still in Circle Up. So I have my 4 sessions of Circle Up or my 3 sessions of Circle Up, but they don't attend that series set in a row. And I'm trying to mark attendance. So does this mean it would mark all 4 at the same time? Like you'd have to, that
So-
person would have to go through 1 through 4. And if I wrote attended, that it would say that they attended all of those?
Okay, so you're talking about the first thing we're looking at with the importing the records?
Yeah, like if we're setting up the ILTs and like just the dates of when they were, so that later you can import the records. But like mine were very unclean because I had people sick or out, and then they would just attend different session
Yeah.
sets when they were available. So would
Separately.
this seems to me that you would be marking 4 in a set as
Well,
attended.
this isn't marking, this is creating the activity.
Yes.
So the first function we were looking at there, the import
Pause you.
record.
Can I pause you here and answer that question, because this is where people are. If you have a policy that allows people to take some in one series and some in another, don't set them up as a series. Set them up as separate. You know, day 1 is a separate ILT. Day 2 is a separate ILT. So don't choose sessions. Just set them up separately, and then you can mark their attendance. You can upload their attendance to the actual date and time that they came, whether it was in the assigned schematic, you know, the 4 sessions in a row, or whether they made up a session 2 months later, which I think is not a good training way to do training, but that's, if people are doing it that way, then don't use the series at all. Because what you're saying, Kate, is that you're right. If in order for them to be completed in the series, they have to attend all of the 4 days and not make it up.
And also that first function we're looking at isn't going to technically mark attendance. It's just going to say the learner completed this activity on this date. If you want to actually mark attendance in bulk, that would be roster, which is done on a session by session basis. So you couldn't do it on multiple activities at a time. So that might take, so if you need them to actually be shown as attended, that you would have to run a roster.
Yeah, but this is historical data. They just want to know,
Yeah.
did they complete it?
Did they complete? Yeah, that's what, yeah, okay, that's what I was making sure. Just do they care if they're marked attended or just that they completed the activity? Okay. So yeah, you would.
Go ahead, has something in the chat here.
Oh, where can I get?
It's just a cautionary note if you're nesting multiple sessions for a course. I think a lot of people presume that if you have multiple parts for your course, like a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and you create a single course and then say, yeah, there's 4 recurring sessions. That is not actually what Thinking Cap is tracking. Thinking Cap is looking at this one course, part 1. Are you offering part 1 at the first of the month, at the second of the next week? And that's something that should really be unpackaged as we're using the platform. If you have multiple parts to your overall course, you want to track each of those parts as its own course. And then if you want to track the entirety of those courses, you probably need to nest them within a learning path.
Right.
Yeah.
But it going backwards to be able to pull a report to say, did the person attend all 4 days, you know, all 4 parts, regardless of when they took it, you know, if they took day 1 and 2 in November and then day 3 and 4 in December in a different offering, you can just run the report on those courses via the course code. You know, you can choose which courses, anything that, you know, happened in November and anything that happened in December. And then you can group by the people to say, did they do day 1, 2, 3, and 4? Regardless of when they did it, it'll show up. you could sort your spreadsheet when you're reporting to show that they actually completed the series, and we're using that term series lightly here because you're not going to be uploading them as a series. You're going to upload them as individual courses for each day. Yeah, because if you do it as a series, then they're going to have to attend all 4 of the sessions in that series in order to be completed. And we want completion based on the individual day that they attend. And we want to ensure that they attend 4 days. So that's why I'm saying, when don't upload it as a series. And matter of fact, going forward, if you're allowing people to make things up, don't do it as don't do it as a series, do it as individual dates, individual courses per date. You could call it the same thing, but they're going to have a separate course code and they're going to be reported out separately. And then, like I said, you could sort by the person to say, well, Harriet only completed 3 of the 4, and the next person down completed 4 of the 4, and so on. Does that make sense?
Hey, Liam, if I could interrupt for a little bit,
Yep.
is there any way, it seems like it's kind of busy in your background. Is there any way that you could have headphones? Do you have
Yeah, give me.
headphones?
Yeah, normally I.
Sorry about that. It's just, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little distracting.
yeah. Normally I use these. Let's just hope that. Normally I do them before, but I
Harriet, you had a
forgot to put
question
them in.
while he's getting that. You had a question, Harriet?
Yes, I guess I'm getting caught up on the difference between attended and completed.
Well, attended, if you create a series and it has 4 parts, 4 days, then you're marking the attendance for the days that they came, but they won't complete that course until they complete all of them in there if they're required. If they're required to complete all 4 days, they'll never complete that course. So they
Okay,
won't
so
show up as completed on a report.
completed is the
Uh,
series. They've completed all of the
oh, come
series,
on,
but attended,
buddy.
they may have only attended 1 or 2 of the
Wait.
series.
Right, they may have only attended 3 of the 4 days and they're required to complete all 4. That's why I'm saying, do not do this as completed in attendance. If you do it as an individual, each day is an individual course, completed in attendance are going to be one and the same. If they attended that day, that course is completed. But if you do it in a series, the attendance is marked by the session that they
Oh
complete.
no, my volume's just way down. What?
You see what I'm saying? So, maybe one, you could pull up one of ours because we do it that way. So we could do that when he's done with this. But
Okay, let me know if there's a specific course you may do.
So I don't know why I'm not hearing you guys very loud.
we're not saying anything.
Yeah, no, I can hear you, Maureen. It's just you're very quiet for some reason. I guess that's as loud as I'm getting it, but can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, these are noise canceling. So, did you answer Harriet's question while I was mucking around with that?
Yes.
Okay. So back into it. So once you've filled in this file, you would save it, and then you would, and this
Share
is
your
exactly,
screen.
sorry?
Share your screen, please.
Oh, yes, sorry. Uh, so you would save the file and you're going to go back here, and this is going to be the exact same procedure as the first thing we were looking at, where you upload the file, and then it's going to show you the first few activities and give you how many you're creating. You're just going to confirm that everything looks all right. Then you're going to click, it's going to, I believe it's going to be add activities. And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to create the job to make the activities. And yeah, that's how you bulk create activities. Was there any questions about that or no? Okay. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left. I believe there was something else that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about reporting, and
Okay.
I can share my screen. Um,
I will
let me
stop sharing then.
let me go here. Okay, so let me share my screen. So the question came up, it's like we're reporting to DDS everybody that's completed something that they want us to complete in that new directive. And we want to know who hasn't completed.
So you want to get everyone who hasn't completed a given activity?
Yeah, so I'm going to just briefly show them how to create that
Okay.
incomplete report. They're going to go to branch activities, report on their staff branch. Then they're going to wait. And they're going to check this box right here. Check select activities by metadata. Because some of you are using shared courses, you also will need to check that. So we'll include those. And here's where we're going to choose what we want to see in our report. And we just want to see the onboarding topics. They're all here, but remember, we don't need these last 5 because they're not statewide available statewide at this point. So we're only going to check the first 20. Actually, they're 21 because risk management and SIR is separated into an A and B. And that's all we're going to check on that page. Then we're going to click next. And then we're going to put our date parameters in here. And I'm going to start this on July.
Didn't you say you want this for people who haven't completed?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're looking at there is the completion dates. If you want the
Oh.
dates they enrolled, it's the bottom part of this page.
Oh, the bottom one. Sorry.
So I would say completion date all time. So scroll up. So completion date all time, and then there we go. And now, yeah.
Now between, sorry, the enrollment date period. So we want to get July 1st. Anybody that was enrolled after July 1st. And we're going to, I'm going to do it for this date just because I don't want this report to take forever to run. And then we're going to go next. And I'm going to say, show me the incompletes. Or you can do all statuses, but I'm going to just show the incompletes.
Keeping in mind that the more data you are requesting, the longer the report is going to take to run, just because it has more data to pull.
Exactly.
So if you only want the incomplete users, choosing complete.
Right. So now I'm going to do next, and then this is where I'm going to choose what I want in my report.
Yes.
I
So
want
if you don't check this this option here, the include individualized learner completion data, if you don't choose that, it's just going to give you summary numbers. So it's going to say for the activity, this is how many learners are enrolled. Here's how many are incomplete. Here's how many are complete. Here's how many are overdue. But it's not going to give you Jane Doe enrolled on this date and is incomplete. John Smith enrolled on this date and is overdue. It's just
Right.
going to give you the numbers in the activity.
Right. Okay, so we wanted to include the title of the course. I don't care about the course ID. I do care about the course code. First name, last name, email. And I check the home branch just to make sure I don't have thinking cap employees in there or, other people from other branches. I do that because I get to see everybody, but you probably don't need that. I don't do this. We're not reporting scores, so who cares unless you do. And then the date enrolled. And I mean, you can include this stuff. I don't, because we don't have a due date yet for this stuff. I don't care about that. They haven't completed it, they're incomplete. And then I really don't care about any of this. I mean, you might want to know when they accessed it last, but these are ILTs we're looking at most of the time, and some are e-learning. You might want that information, but and then here you want to know, just to make sure you're not pulling anybody that's not an SC. I include that. You can delete it out of the report once you get it. And then I like to put the supervisor because I may want to contact them to say your people are not completing this. So that's helpful. And then the hire date, because we want to get rid of people that are enrolled in this, but they're enrolled because mandated reporting is required every year, but they're not onboarding. They've been here for 10 years. So I put the hire date so we can eliminate those people later on. And then I want to know which ones they are correlating with the DDS tags that we put in there. And then I hit next and next. And then I give it a report name. And then I hit that, create the report. So this is going to take a little bit to run. And Liam, I don't know why this does that. It doesn't show anything. I have to go here and then go back for it to show. And here it is. It's in progress. So that's going to take a minute or two. Is there anything else you want to mention while I'm waiting for this?
Nothing I can think of.
I should have run one before so I could just pull it up, but I didn't.
And just to clarify, this is only going to give us the information for folks that have enrolled but haven't
Yes.
finished.
Yes, it's
Okay.
getting information. So it's pulling student records in the activity. And there's no student, if someone's not enrolled in it, there's no student record. So because you're never going to get a report that's like, I want to pull information on this activity, and it'll include people who aren't enrolled in it. You'll never get that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because you have to
Yeah.
target them based on, okay,
Yes.
are we associated with a course, or are we looking at people? I mean, I guess that is how we're going to have to manipulate that, is identify people that simply don't have any of these entries in their transcript.
Yeah, and there are types of reports that pull on learners themselves, stuff like system access reports, but this is effectively pulling on student records.
Right. If they haven't started, let's say they just started yesterday and they haven't taken one course, they're not going to show up incomplete on this report until
Yeah,
they have to do at least one course in order to be on this report.
Mhm.
So you're right. Yes. But, I mean, if you have new staff and you're auto enrolling them, which you should be, hopefully, into your learning paths where these courses reside, then hopefully they have taken at least one of them, when they're in their first week or so. So anyway, this is taking a while, but you're right. It's not going to show people that have not taken at least one course. And it's refreshing, but it's still in progress.
Yeah, because it's pulling and it's collating all that data, and
Yeah, it's a lot to look through. So
yeah, and that's why I said, if you just want information on the incomplete users, be sure to only include the incomplete users, because the less information it needs to work with, the quicker it'll go.
right. Let me see if I
was going to say, do you have an existing one that you can?
yeah, I'm trying to see if I do.
We could just show a domain activity, because the domain activities report is going to show the same, just
Let's see. Well. Okay, well, that's the one we're working on. It's in progress. I was gonna say, there it is. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I have any. Yeah, sorry, folks. Takes a little while. Yeah, I don't have any.
Okay, I think you can just show a domain activities report for the because it'll look the same. It'll be the same format as long as it's one that you've included details on.
Um, I know I have one somewhere that I've run. Why is it not? Oh, come on. Yeah, this is gonna be showing only the completed ones. But I can pull it up.
Yeah, it'll show the format. It'll show in general what it looks like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the difference will be that it is showing completed, whereas this one that I just ran is going to show incomplete. So, but that's how you set it up. All right. So it's going to show the title, the course code, the first name, last name, email.
All the all the information that you included on that second to last page, it's going to show here.
Yeah.
And what I was saying earlier about you know, it'll only show about if you don't choose that option, it'll only show the summary. That was that first sheet.
Right.
This sheet here will only appear if you do choose that option.
Yeah, and so here's the ones that it represents. So you could go over here and look at the Lanterman Act matches with number 9. So let me go back and see. Is that still in progress? Shoot. Anyway, that report did not it did
Yeah.
not show the supervisor and some of the other things I chose, but
Yeah.
at any rate, you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be that same format. It'll just which columns appear. Okay.
Any questions? I know we're a little over here. Overwhelmed? Need some help later? Kate's laughing. She's like,
I think I saw Deborah nodding.
Juan, can you show us just pull up a PCT or something that shows how the attendance part of it plays into this. I'm gonna
Sure.
stop sharing. For Harriet was asking about what's the difference between attended and completed. If it's a one session course and one ILT that happened on Friday, if you mark them as attended, they're completed in the course. If it's a 4-session series that's under that course and it's got day 1, day 2, so on, it's going to show them completed only if they complete all the required courses within all the required sessions within that course. And you do that by marking the attendance of the individual sessions. But for the sake of going backwards in time and uploading these, just if you have day 1 on this date and day 2 on a different date, just assign them a different, upload them as a different course code.
So this is a PCP, and you can see that.
No, we're looking at your email.
I picked the right one. Share. Okay. Are we looking at the attendance?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see this is a PCP. You can see here's the first session, and you can see there's a different sessions. So there's a difference between those folks that attend that you see.
Go back to the top one and show them the different dates. So you mark attendance for each day separately. So when day 2 happens, then you go in and mark their attendance for that, or they do if they're entering through Zoom. But so that's the difference. So in order for somebody to complete this PCP course, they have to attend all 6 sessions.
Hmm.
They have to be marked as attended in all 6 sessions. And if they're not, they'll never complete this course. That's why I'm saying if you have 4 sessions or 6 sessions, just assign them a different course code, and that should be easy to do if you're starting from scratch and uploading your content, your courses, give them an acronym like cultural humility, CH _ January. Day 1, January. That's, the next course code would be CH _ January day 2. And then you can just cut and paste the rest of your data associated with those different courses. The date that, it started, the date that it ended, the time that it started, the time that it ended. It was from 9 to 4. And then when you import your learner data, just import it individually. Does that make sense? It helps to, to do this going forward. You can get your old records in there, but going forward from July 1st, put those records in there now, because that's what we're going to be reporting on when we report to DDS. So they don't care about the prior time, And Krista, you said there's not a way to find people that haven't enrolled in there. No, because they're not enrolled in anything. We can't run a report to see whether they were supposed to enroll, but they didn't. That's why I'm saying set up your auto enrollment. If this is, I'm just talking about onboarding. I'm not talking about other courses. So these onboarding courses should be in Learning Paths, and people should be auto enrolled in those Learning Paths so that they are enrolled. The only difference is if they haven't started any of them, they're not going to show up on an incomplete report. That's the only difference. You know, I mean, if they just started, then, I mean, if you've got somebody that's been there for 2 months and they haven't started on one course, that's another issue. That's a performance issue, but you know, they're not going to be on the report. But it's not going to show people that are not even enrolled ever. You know, if they're not enrolled, they can't show up on the report as incomplete because they're not enrolled. So set up your auto enrollment so that, you know, they're automatically enrolled. And if you set that up and have it go to the end of the year, everybody's hired between this date and the end of the year is going to be automatically enrolled as soon as you create their account. They're automatically there. And you don't have to do it. That's the beauty of it. You know, that's how we do it. It's, you know, we've got auto enrollment rules to hire anybody that has that tag SC yes in the SC courses, or has the tag, you know, whatever your tags are for your SCs or your managers. If it's managers you're trying to track, then those people will be auto enrolled. If they were hired, if they had that job code or that field is marked yes for SC, they'll be auto enrolled if they were hired between July 1st and June 30th, 2026. And you no longer have to worry about them getting enrolled. You have to worry about them, but not in the same way. You don't have to manually go in and say, okay, I need to put them in, you know, in the new staff onboarding. Now, if you have new staff onboarding that you're recreating, I say don't do that. Just have one, you know, one for your SCs, one for your managers, and then set up those rules in each one of them. And you could put your courses in there. And, you know, when we run these reports, we're only running them on people that are yes. So even if you have managers and other people taking those courses, they're not going to show up on the report because they're not an SC and they don't have yes in that field. Any questions? Do we need to go through this, do this again? Nobody wants to hear this again? Come on, you guys. You just want to have lunch?
I mean, it's the end of my day, so
It's the end of your day. You want to have
Yeah.
dinner.
yeah, it's 3 o'clock here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know what to say. If you don't have any questions, I don't have any answers. So comments?
I'm pretty sure once we tried it, that we'll have more questions for you, Maureen. Don't worry.
Supervisor approvals is broken as of the last push out, Liam. There's no way to access tasks as a manager under your My Learners,
Okay.
just since you mentioned it.
Okay, so the best thing to do would be to log a
Submit a ticket. I know,
Yeah.
just giving you a heads up.
Yeah, okay.
And Chelsea, we're going to upload this to the Sandbox and I'll put it also on YouTube.